And 80s, parents tried to prove that Primodos affected development of their babies in the womb. Eventually, lawyers dropped the case. But 30 years on, the children allegedly affected by the drug are attempting to rekindle their parents' legal challenge. Internal documents seen by Sky News suggest there were concerns about it years before it was taken off the market. The manufacturers of Primodos have always denied the link. Jason Farrell has this exclusive report.
Carl was born in 1973. His mother had been prescribed a drug called Primodos as a pregnancy test. In 1965, Nicky's mother had also used Primodos. The drug was later taken off the market amid concerns it could cause deformities in babies.
I went in good faith to my doctor. I told him I thought I was pregnant, and he gave me the tablets. I did say to him, I had these last time and I miscarried, and he said, you'll be all right this time.
I always knew that it was a drug that caused my birth defect. Because Mum and Dad had told me how I asked when I was very young.
Nicky was among 500 children whose parents formed a campaign group in the late 70s. Carl's mum, Pamela, was also a member, but they failed to prove that Primodos caused deformities. The German drug manufacturer Schering always denied it. But Carl has now made an extraordinary discovery that may reignite the case.
Right, so this is a German magazine, and that's you?
That's me, yeah.
The German journalists who wrote this article gave Carl's mum confidential papers that they'd obtained from Schering. After sitting unread in her loft for 30 years, copies of these documents are now with lawyers in London and form the backbone for a potential new legal challenge. Carl has also given Sky News exclusive access to examine them.
Birth defects and drugs in pregnancy.
The 200 pages of internal correspondence from 1967 show that Schering's British scientists were worried, and had reason to be. A researcher at Queen Mary's Hospital in London had found a potential link between hormone pregnancy tests such as Primodos and spinal congenital malformations in newborns. The Royal College of GPs produced figures for Schering showing higher rates of miscarriages, stillbirths, infant deaths and abnormalities in babies of women who took Primodos. The report author Norman Dean concluded the drug should be withdrawn. And in 1968, Schering's lead UK scientist wrote to the parent company in Berlin. It is extremely disturbing that the results of statistics, human studies and other studies all point clearly to the possibility that Primodos may interfere with a pregnancy. Despite all of this, the drug remained on the market.
That is their own drug company's file confirming that this drug has done the damage. So why? Why let this go? They've signed this document to say this drug was damaging. They need to answer these questions, and that file gives the evidence.
To authenticate these papers, we've spoken to some of the original authors. Dennis Cook was a statistician contracted by Schering. Mr. Cook still has copies of the studies he conducted comparing the increase in sales of Primodos to the number of recorded deformities in newborns.
What we're seeing here is a direct correlation between sales of Primodos and abnormalities in childbirth.
Yeah.
So Dennis, you describe this as a strong correlation and rather alarming.
I mean, that's certainly the case, yes.
So this was another warning to the drugs company 8 years before they eventually took Primodos off the market. We conducted a similar study to see what happened when Primodos was eventually taken off the market. Schering stopped promoting it in January 1974, and prescriptions fell from 120,000 in that year to 7,000 by 1977 when it was withdrawn. Birth deformities over the same period show a corresponding year-on-year decline.
I don't see why the drug company should be allowed to issue out drugs which has such devastating consequences, and when it goes wrong they get away with brushing it under the carpet.
Bayer, which took over Schering, says Bayer denies that Primodos was responsible for causing any deformities in children. The current state of knowledge, according to the published medical scientific literature, is that there is no association between the hormones contained in Primodos and the congenital deformities of the type alleged by Mr. Murphy.
I would have followed you. Put it back. Okay.
But after decades of wondering, those who believe they were harmed by Primodos will learn this month whether they'll be granted legal aid to pursue their case. Jason Farrell, Sky News.